Hey, welcome to the Whisper and the Walk.
Oops, glasses.
I'm Fred. This is my lovely wife, Gail.
Hi.
Hi. What are we going to be talking about today?
I was telling Fred this morning while we were out driving. I can't say the Lord told me, I dreamt it, but I woke up in the middle of the night and it just came to me. This episode is supposed to be called Things Are Different Now. Like in me, in you, just our whole surrounding, like everything about us, things are different now.
Yeah, they really are. A lot's been changing just in our hearts, our minds, the way we think, the way we see things, the way we view things, the way we view problems, the way we view people and everything else like that. So it's been really, really interesting to see what's going on. So, I guess I'll start off with a little bit of a testimony. My voice is a little off today, so you're going to have to bear with me. So we're saying things are changing, things are different now, and I'll give you a little bit of an example of that. Last week we had an audit for our insurance that we do on my business particularly, and everything should have been good. I have a guy that works for me in another state, and he lapsed his insurance. So I found out after I'd already had my audit being done, and this past weekend we went out to do a race, and anybody that knows me is I'm super competitive. So if we're in a gym and we're at a treadmill, you may not know we're racing, but we're racing.
Even if you're 2 treadmills down, you're racing.
You're racing me. You might be in the next row ahead of me or behind me. We're racing. You don't know that, but next time you see me in the gym, we will be racing. But no, all seriously. So I signed up for this race to run up a mountain, which was really fun. Had great friends there. Daniel and Chris came out and joined us. It was really great. Had a great time in the Lord doing it, and was excited the whole way. And I guess right before we left, we got the information on everything that was going on. All the bad news came in. So basically, long story short, it came out. They hit us with a $12,000.
Yeah, so the insurance company audited the business, which they do every year. And, we're compliant and everything. It's just when this particular person let his insurance lapse, he didn't have insurance for a year. So when they audited, it came back to us because it's Fred's business name. We owed $12,000. Yeah,
$12,000. So,
And I was like,
the funny thing is just prior to that on a Monday night, we're at a small little group, and I had mentioned, about how we think.
Yes.
Like we're projecting these things, and when we project them, it's literally like they're destructing our days. And most of what we hear in the church in America is like, this is how you can have a better life. And if you just pray more and, you fast more, you do all these stupid little works things that they want you to do, right? And that's not how we were designed.
No.
We weren't created to live in worry, stress, and everything else like that. We were created for our daily bread.
Yep.
And so I said that on Monday, and how not to let the chaos around us in the world affect anything that's going on in front of us right now.
Who you are.
Yeah, of course, and so some people will say, see, that's why you don't tempt God, or I'm not tempting God. I'm knowing who I am in Christ.
Yes, exactly.
And that's part of the transition that we're talking about here. So, of course, we get that information on Wednesday, Thursday. Also, let me give you this. That whole week, I had no work.
Yep.
So, and then you get hit with a $12,000 bill, and it's like,
okay, where did this come from? How we're going to pay this? I started getting angry at the person that let it lapse, which was wrong on my end. We're all human, so I was like, God, search my heart. And I had to search my heart, like, okay, it's not particularly that person. And I was like, how could they do this to us? Well, they didn't know.
Yeah. They didn't do it to us intentionally. And that's the whole thing is like, we need to look at what God's doing. God is always for us. God is always good.
Yeah.
And when you can live in that mindset, I'm not thinking about what's going to happen next. I mean, there's certain things I could do in the moment of that day, but there's nothing I can do for tomorrow. So it interrupting my sleep. So Thursday, we pack everything up, or Friday, whatever it was, when we leave,
Yep.
Friday morning.
Yep.
We pack everything up. We're heading to the mountains. We're driving. And there's these thoughts that come in along the way. Like, now, how do you pay this $12,000? It's not like you have it sitting in, I don't have it sitting in my bank account.
No.
And, but I can't let that affect me. That's the chaos. That's the lie of the enemy, because what that is actually doing is trying to pull me out of who God says I am.
Yes.
And so I look at Gail and I was like, we came up here for one thing: have a good time with some of our friends, come out here, run a race, and enjoy the weekend. Ultimately, that's
Yep.
what we're here to do, right? So while we're there, we have a friend of ours, and I'm telling him all this, about identity and knowing who we are in Christ and everything else like that. Meanwhile, I have this lurking $12,000 bill hanging over our heads. And
I lost a lot of weight that day.
she was about to make a fortune if I died on the mountain. So it's funny because I'm telling them, and I'm not telling them because I'm angry at the situation, but I'm like trying to help people see it's about knowing two things: knowing He's in me,
Yes.
Christ in me, He's for me. I'm not asking Him to pay the bill. I'm not asking Him to remove the debt. He already knows my need before I say it.
Yep.
All I'm doing is focusing on who He says I am. I'm loved, I'm called, I'm chosen by Him, and I am His son. And it's funny because I was telling Gail like years ago, and I think we mentioned it before in the past, our life verse when our kids were small, going through financial struggles, was
Right.
like, I've never seen the righteous in the street begging for bread.
Right.
I was like, why are we going to worry about this one little $12,000 bill when we've had bigger bills than that before in the past?
Yeah. And doesn't His word say, worrying about it doesn't add a day to your life?
Yeah,
it actually
exactly.
takes away.
Takes away.
And I told Fred, I'm like, okay, if this is the bill, the 12 grand that we have to pay, one, we don't have it. So why stress about it?
Yep.
I mean, I can make a payment plan. That's all we can do. So I'll just do what we can physically do.
And in 12 years from now, that bill would have been paid. And,
Stupid.
no, but in all honesty, so we're sitting back and I said, we can't let this affect our weekend. This is ultimately, we're living for today. And He's called us, His mercies are new every morning. So we're going to walk through this. We're going to trust. So have the weekend. We go through the race. We're having this good time. What we ended up talking about to Chris the whole weekend. We're walking that night. We just went for dinner and we're walking downtown.
We're talking the whole time about being who He's created to be, seeing Himself the way God sees Him, like
Yeah.
loving Him where He is.
Yeah. And
But
then,
we walk in. We went to get ice cream after we were so stuffed with food already, but we're walking
because you
down.
can never have enough carbs when you ran up a mountain.
And so we stumbled upon this little shop across the street, and the name of it was Selah.
Yep.
Selah.
Yep.
And then it had the meaning of it. But this one, it had the world needs you to be who you were created to be.
Boom.
So Chris runs over, takes a picture. He posts it because, not saying to us, because this was his time with God. He got that revelation.
Yeah. And so, the whole time God's trying to tell us who we are, and chaos is pulling us out of our true identity.
Mm-hmm.
All that to be said. So we come home Monday, sent a few letters trying to correspond with the people. And then I guess it was Tuesday.
Yeah, I'm going
more.
back and forth through emails with the lady and the girl on the other end. We're going back and forth.
Oh, let me stress this because most people don't realize this could cost me my business and my livelihood.
Yeah.
Because it would put my insurance on hold. I can't work if I don't have insurance. And so all this is going on. Now I can choose in the moment to get all stressed out and be like, oh my God, get all frantic and worry about it.
Because if it wasn't paid, they could force him not to work anymore till that debt was paid.
Yeah. When, that, like I said, could be 12 years from now. So, but to say that, I want you to say, so you see a bigger picture of this thing that's different now inside of me, inside of her, inside of everything going on in our lives is because of we're learning more and more who we are. We're growing in our understanding of righteousness.
Yes.
Right relationship with God.
Yep.
We're growing in our union continually with God
Yep.
as father and as sons and daughters, right? So
Yep.
go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Well,
Sorry.
and for me, it's learning to choose to live in the realm of confident rest.
Yes.
And that's also peace, rest over my mind and things going on. But anyway, going back to the story about the $12,000 bill. So me and the lady are going back and forth to the auditor through emails, and then the other lady that we're working with. And next thing I know, I wake up the next morning and I'm like, Fred, we got an email. And he's like, what is it? And I said, they revised the whole thing because of the situation. It wasn't our fault. The lady had looked up some laws for carrying this type of insurance, and us not living in North Carolina, we were not responsible anymore. Yeah. So, long story short, the bill went from 12,000 to 400.
Woo! Which is amazing. So we say that as a testimony of what God's doing, because we're choosing to live in the identity that He's called and created us to be.
We didn't sit there and just manifest and just worry over this one bill.
Yeah. I'm choosing, this day, my daily bread.
Yep.
I'm not worried about manna tomorrow. I'm not worried about what's coming tomorrow. I'm focusing on one thing, my relationship with Him.
Yep.
And if that's all that it takes to pull me out of the union with Him, then I'm losing track of who I am and who He truly is, right? Because He's good, He's great, He's amazing, and some people say, well, that's just great to think like that. Look, we keep hearing these self-help messages and, how to be better people and everything. And there's good practical things in the Bible. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people who aren't even saved who use business principles from the Bible and are successful because they use those principles. And those principles are good, right? But as a believer or a follower or forget those words. I hate those words. As a son and daughter of the Most High, when you start to know who you are, those principles are not just principles you're trying to put in practice. They're things that truly manifest who He is inside of you, because He's already given us everything we need to survive in life. It's already inside of us. I'm not using a law of attraction to try. If I keep confessing, it'll keep coming, right? There's scriptures in the Bible that says that the Son and the Spirit are interceding for us.
You read me that the other day. Yeah.
Right? Day and night. So I'm no longer having to intercede. I'm just learning to sit down at the table in the presence of what I would call an enemy per se. And I'm just going to feast. I'm not going to let the chaos interrupt my dinner. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, my stomach's too upset, I can't eat. I'm going to trust. And it's funny because we go through all these different things. And even our daughter, call us and stuff like that. And we're telling her the testimony of these things.
Yeah.
It's like everything you need and desire is already inside of you. And you've got to hold true to who He says I am, no matter what the circumstance in front of you is looking at. Everything in front of me is temporary, but the things that are eternal are established. And so we're building on the rock of that foundation of the established kingdom of Christ. He is who He says He is. I am who He says I am. And now I can live, move, and have my being in that, because I'm not going to let it pull me out of my union, because everything here is vibrating this way and trying to pull me out.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay here face to face, locking eyes with Jesus, no matter what's going on.
Yep.
So,
yeah. Like he was saying, I have a good friend of mine who called up as well, going through some issues, found out it was a negative report at a doctor's office. And immediately, your mind just starts wandering and starts going to the bad things.
yeah.
And so I talked to her for quite a while, but it was basically, I said, either God's a liar
That's right.
or He's not.
Yeah.
So I know what His word says.
Yeah.
And I reminded her, and she goes, I know. Well, then start believing it, because clearly God's not a liar.
Yeah.
You know, you have to choose to believe what
Yeah.
he said is already done. You're already healed. Don't take it on. Continue and go and get, a second opinion or whatever they suggest. Yeah. But at the same time, that doesn't defy who you are
Yeah.
and how you respond, react, live
Yep.
on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and it's not a point of wishful thinking. Like, I'm not trying to create a fake sense of faith in these things.
Right.
I'm literally calling forth the things that are already in me. Mm-hmm. It's funny because we'll say yes, the promises of God, or yes and amen. True scripture.
We'll take the good ones.
We'll take the good ones, right? But not realizing, yes, when I got the news, was I frustrated? Yes. Was I angry? Yes. Was I pissed? Because, it's like, it makes you not
Yes.
want to do good things anymore, right? And
Well, you start, I'm talking for myself, when you get that letter or that diagnosis, like, dang, man, I've been sold out to you. I've been truthful. I've been, believing. And
yeah,
then I get this.
yeah. And so we try to say, like, oh man, well, what's the point of all this? And there is no point of it. All that point is things that are trying to pull you out of union
Yep.
with the Trinity, which you were created and designed to live in wholeheartedly.
Yep.
So what I want to do is, the natural realm is not the kingdom I live in, even though I'm in this realm, right, per se.
In the world, but not of it.
In the
Well,
world, but
kind
not of
of.
it, kind of, in a sense. We the way that's been taught, though.
That's another episode.
That's another episode, right? But it's like, I have to see how he sees me, and I have to hear what the Spirit is saying,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so what is the Spirit saying? You're my child. I will provide for y'all. It's nothing I have to earn from him.
Right.
The problem I see with most believers is we have the prodigal sons. Both of them are prodigal. One's living, we would say, squandering. The other one's living inside the house with the father and still does not know his worth,
Yeah.
or know his value and know his place inside the house of the father, right? So both are prodigals. And so I have to realize that while all I have to do is sit with the father and block out the noise or the distraction, the chaos is what I call it continually,
Yeah.
of what's going on around, and get centered in and focus what's going on in the kingdom, because that's where I truly should be living out of. Bill Johnson says it, if you put a dove on your shoulder, how consciously would you walk of it? So when the problems come, I have to realize, how consciously am I of what the Father wants for me in my life? So I start realizing I'm living from the kingdom of heaven within, right? Because the kingdom is at hand or it's within. Yes, it's both, right?
Right.
So I'm going to live from within and let that come forth as the light shining forth
Yep.
out of my life. And so those are the positions that we're taking in our life. And it's weird because it doesn't mean that the thoughts go away or the chaos goes away or just disappears. And, yes, it's great when we hear testimonies like that. And some are for years that you
Right.
go through it. It could be a sickness or whatever, battling through. And it doesn't mean that we're negating the problem or just trying, it doesn't exist. If my bank account's empty, the reality is my bank account's
It's empty.
right? I can't,
You can't manifest money and
I'm not like, be full, be full. And then I go check my bank account, it's there. Now, hey, that could happen. I've heard of people doing crazier things before in the past.
we're not opposed.
I'm not opposed to that, right? Drop it in, Lord, right? 1.5 would be a great number for me. Million, not $1.50, but but seriously, I'm literally realizing he's given me everything I need.
Mm-hmm.
He's given me peace. He's given me joy. He's given me wholeness. He's given me health. He's given me wealth. And those are the things that I'm going to live from. And no matter
Yeah.
what's going on, that's the place I want to live from. that's where I want to manifest from.
Yep.
In the past, it was easy for me to manifest. Normally it'd be anger. This would, just even 3 years ago, this would have sent me off into a spiral for like a week. I would have been angry all week. I'd have been pissed, and something would have happened at work, and I would have been angry.
I would
at
have
work.
shut down, had a migraine.
Gone,
Yeah.
mentally just shut down, not
Yeah.
communicate or anything like that. And so, like, living from this place of wholeness and health and wealth, no matter what. I mean, when we came home from the race, I was feeling great. Well, I went to work Monday, and Tuesday I go to work, and all of a sudden, which is odd because usually I have a day lapse and stuff like that, man, everything was aching in my body. My legs were swelled up, my muscles were so tight,
Yep.
my back tightened up, and I'm thinking, how am I gonna like finish the shed I've got to build and then carry all this stuff? And there are all these long walks. And it's funny because like normally I just push through it, but then I start thinking, you know, he's made me whole. I do what I got to do, right? I keep pushing through. But ultimately, I'm like, this is not how I was created to live. So, Lord, you show me what it takes or what you want me to do or where you want me to be. And, you know, we always say go in the word, different things like that, put worship music on, get into a flow of some. And so I just went in the room. I put on some massage stuff, trying to get it out of my legs, and it wasn't really working that well. And I just started reading. I was like, this isn't going to distract me from locking eyes
Yeah.
with my Father this day. The sickness and pain, it's not going to define the moment that I'm living in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what else you have to add in that? Because you're the one who came up with this title, so.
I know.
And I'm doing all talking. Blah, blah, blah.
And that's not different.
I normally don't do much talking.
He doesn't know when to stop. No. You know, like what I was saying, everything that he said, where I'm coming from right now, like things are different. I see things, feel things in me that I can't explain, but I'm thinking differently. I'm seeing people differently, seeing life differently.
Yeah.
You know, our heating element went out in our dryer. So I'm washing here and having to go to the laundromat and just to dry the clothes. And there's one lady, she works there, but I'm always running into her, you know, whatever time it is that I go there. And all right, Lord, I'm not saying you caused my dryer to go out, but hey, the fact it went out, I'm having to go here. I'm seeing her every time I'm there. There's a reason.
Yes. And let me state this. God's not bringing bad things into your life to reveal more of who he is. Okay? God may be using or turning those bad things
Right.
to use into a good life lesson,
Yes.
instruction, and everything
He
else
doesn't
like that.
cause
He doesn't
anything.
cause the bad thing. Look, I'm not wishing for my kids to get cancer so that they would know Jesus Christ better. That would be stupid as me as a parent, right?
Yes.
So stop thinking that about God. But God will use
He'll use that
these
moment.
chaos.
Yeah.
Not, I hate even using the word use because I don't think he's literally taking these chaos moments to show another side of how he is or
Yep.
who he is. Like he can turn it around in an instant. And a lot of times we don't embrace those situations
Yeah.
for him to fully show who he is. And so
Because we like to take control. You
Take
said it
control.
the other week. We want peace that surpasses understanding, but we want to understand.
yeah, we want to understand how all this piece works. Well, that does not
You
make
have
any
to
sense.
trust.
Yeah. And so he can show another whole side of who he is. Like, I'm going to show you the goodness in the midst of the storm. You know, Jesus could have been easily upset when he's walking and the woman with the blood disease comes and touches him and draws power out. Instead, he wants to know who
touched
believes
it?
this?
Yeah.
Who touched this?
Who had enough belief that
Yeah.
I could,
Yeah.
just
Who-
touching my hem of my garment.
Yeah.
Just a thread.
Who's willing to draw from this?
Yep.
Like, who knows that they can come drink from this fountain?
Yeah.
Who got the revelation of it? And so, like, in the midst of the chaos, we got to learn to draw from the water that never runs dry. If you knew who asked you for a drink, you would ask of him and he would give you living water.
Right.
Right? So sorry I cut you off again.
See,
wow,
there,
that's
see?
bad.
See, didn't
I
we
gotta
just
get
say
better
that?
at that. See, you talk too much, hon.
So, but anyway, so I'm going there, and every time she sees me, she just smiles. You know, we do the good little thing, keep going our way. I went and sat in the truck, and I'm watching my stuff for work, and then I sat there and I thought, I got out of my truck, went back, and I walked right up to her, and I said, hey, I'm supposed to buy you lunch today. What do you want from Chick-fil-A? And she just like, what? And I said it again. And she goes, no one's ever done that to ask me that before or bought me lunch. And I said, well, I'm supposed to buy you lunch. What do you want? Well, long story, her work had provided lunch for them because they're having a big meeting afterwards. So I said, okay, next time I come in, I'll have you lunch. And she just hugged me like a tight hug. And I mean, she walked off, and that grin, I can still see it on her face.
Yeah.
She just walked off smiling. So I told Fred, I'm like, that's why I'm there.
Yeah. That's the kingdom invading earth. That's heaven invading earth in a different form.
Yeah.
Right? And it's the little things. Like, some of us are looking for the grandest moment,
Yeah.
right? But it's the little things.
It's
And
the
we-
unseen things.
Yeah,
though.
and we've got to learn to take the joy in these situations.
Yep.
You know, surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. I'm going to hold on to it.
It does, but you have to believe it.
Yeah, and it's not just like, oh, I'm going to think happy thoughts. We're not
Right.
talking about that.
Believe it in here.
Yeah. Like, well, we still got a $400 extra bill we got to pay. Do I really have? Yes, you have $6 to buy somebody a lunch to change your life,
Yeah.
especially if the Lord's telling you to do it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So move out on those things. And those are the things of the kingdom. I mean, we're here in Tennessee. We really don't know a whole lot of people yet. We've 5 or 6, I guess you can say, right? Maybe whole.
Yeah.
And we're getting ready to hold, like, if you know us, you know we've always done them. We're getting ready to hold our first brunch here. in
We
a couple
both
weeks.
love to gather people, just community, just fellowshipping, like hanging out.
Yeah. So get ready if you live in Middle Tennessee and
Murfreesboro
area.
anywhere. In
yeah,
the
you want to
Tennessee
come
area.
from Nashville, come on. It's only 45 minutes away. But we're going to be meeting at one of the local parks. We're going to hold a big brunch there.
Yeah.
And whoever shows. You know what? And the first thought that comes to my mind is, what if nobody shows? And I was like, that's okay. Jesus, when he was giving the example, for the wedding feast, he said, just go grab. There's going to be a bunch of people out in the park. I'll just start grabbing. Hey, you want some free food? Want free?
Yeah.
If you don't know anybody who's going to come for free food, then something is seriously wrong.
Yeah.
But that's what we're going to do. So you're more than welcome. You live in Nashville. It's going to be in a couple weeks. It'll be posted on our Facebook page
Yes.
and also on our fellowship page.
Yep. I know it'd be at the Barfield Crescent Park.
Yeah. And we'll have the time and more details up there. So
Yeah.
hopefully you can join us. We'll get this out in time that you'll be able to join us. And if not, we'll be doing another one the following month because we do these things once a month usually.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yep. Exciting.
it is. I can't wait to see what God's going to do. Look, I can't wait to hear what God's going to do in your life. Take hold of the testimony and the identity of who you are in Christ.
Yes.
Move in it, flow in it, be all that he's created you to be. The world is waiting in eager expectations for the sons of glory and the daughters to be revealed here on the earth, not in the days to come, but right now.
Yep.
Or all of creation standing on tiptoe,
Yep.
waiting
Waiting for us.
on you.
Yeah.
Well, the identity is already inside of us. Live, move, have your being in him. Live day to day in him, not stressing about the future and worrying about what has happened in the past. Well, these things have always happened in the past, so I know this will be my future. It'll only be your future if you allow it to define
Yes.
you. What happened in my past doesn't define who I am right now today. Today's a new day. What I did before in the past, what I did yesterday is gone.
Yeah.
So, hey, we're glad you joined us in
Yes.
the Whisper and the Walk. We'll be back with another one here soon. And
We hope you guys share this, like, subscribe. No one's left comments before, but I'm just saying it again. If you
Yeah.
want to know something or how we feel on a topic or how we see this, leave comments. You
Yeah.
know, you can do it anonymous if you want. But
yeah, the goal is not judging the church, judging people, or anything else like that. It's helping people see who they really are. You've got to know Christ in you, the
Yeah.
hope of glory. You've got to know it. You've got to know that God's a good God.
Yep.
It's not a good cop or bad cop. Those of you that have been around us long enough should know that.
Yeah.
It's literally that he's a good father. He's not like any other father you've ever seen on the earth. So we
Yeah.
encourage you, drop a comment in. Hey, if you don't want anybody to see, reach out on Facebook, send us a message.
Yeah. I mean, our Facebook is Fred-Gale Augustine.
Yep.
I mean, search us out on that. Like he said, do an anonymous comment or however. But yeah, we're here for you. You got
Yeah.
any questions, whatever, want to know?
Yeah, you want to know more? You want to know more about us? Hey, send it.
We're open. We're transparent people. So
Pretty much so, yeah. I
what you see is what you
see
get.
from our conversation, she talks too much. And so, but hey, we love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back hopefully in a week or two. And we try to do them at least, 2 or 3 of these a month, just based on time and however the Lord's leading.
Yep.
So join us. And don't forget, if you need a journal, check out our links in the bottom of the YouTube
Yep.
page.
I don't have them with me, but yes, check out our journals on Amazon. You have to look it up by my name, which is Francis Augustine. My first name.
Francis.
Yeah. Just look it up on there, check it out, get a journal. So we're still making some more.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see you then and not talk to you soon, but we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.